Chairman, thank you, Chairman Powell, for being here. And I think I want to pick up a little bit right where we are. 2019, 2020, the entire world was under the unprecedented pandemic with COVID rate. Is that correct?
Yes.
At the time. And that changed a lot of things with reference because not just for the United States, but for the entire world. And it affected the economies of countries just about on the planet. That's not also correct?
Yes.
And supply chains were disrupted. In fact, I can remember many Americans and people around the world could not get toilet paper or paper towels and some of the basics. And so the prices, because of the, of supply and demand, skyrocketed, causing the inflation, not only in the United States, but basically all over the world. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so therefore, the Fed had to do certain things because of what we were in at that particular time. We couldn't just go back and act like the pandemic wasn't there. We had to do something to try to make sure that we were able to get through the pandemic. Is that not correct?
Yes.
And now we're at that point where we're about to get through this pandemic. And we can look at the rest of the world, what they did or didn't do at that time, but what we did at that time. And as a result of that, 3 years post the pandemic, when you look around the world, I think that you were correct with what you stated, that by most accounts, our economy is doing well. In fact, I would say our economy is doing better than most of the other countries in the world. Would you say that's correct?
I would.
And so, I would say then that some of the other countries of the world maybe should have looked at the policies that we put in place thereafter so that they could get out of it, so that they could have a labor market that is strong, where the unemployment rate is near a 50-year low. And as you've stated, inflation is also now coming down faster than any place else on the planet just about. Is that not correct?
I think that's right, yeah.
And I think that you also recognize a mismatch between the strength of the economy, that's what we're talking about, in the field. And I think that Ranking Member Waters touched on one of those big issues of housing, of which is now, we're still trying to get that under control. And I think the Ranking Member has some ideas on how we can do that, and that may be something that you need to consider so that we can further get down the inflation rate. And the other would be the commodity markets, because the cost of food is too high in people. So that's something else that we need to get in control. Is that not correct?
Yes.
And let me just ask this. Can you say that there's a connection, for example, between conflicts in other areas of the world, like Russia's war against Ukraine and or the turmoil in the Middle East and the economic pressures that the United States feels? Does that not also go into the reason why the cost of commodities can be still higher? Is there a connection therein, Mr. Chairman?
Certainly the war in Ukraine caused commodity prices to move up sharply.
So could you tell you what is the, what would the connection lead you to believe that there is an urgent need for us, I would think, for, and we're running out of time, for us to do everything that is in our power in Congress to support Ukraine, so that we can make sure that and other strategic partners, that we can help the commodities market, and that would help lower the cost of some of the commodities, bringing food prices down, if we would just be able to pass certain things that's going to help Ukraine right here in the United States Congress. Is that correct?
Here's where it gets outside of our jurisdiction. So I wouldn't have an opinion on Ukraine funding.
But if we had more grain that was going through, it wasn't blocked by Russia, things of that nature, that generally just, says that helps bring the cost down. Cost is higher because of the disruption in the Black Sea that's happened because of this war. So that would help bring the cost down. That is not necessarily the policies just here in the United States, but that's the policy because of what's going on in Russia. And we need to make sure that we do something to prevent that if we really are serious about bringing inflation down. Is that not correct?
I think it's correct that a full supply of grain would help with commodity prices.
And so, instead of us playing politics with this and acting like it is your fault or anyone else's fault that we had to go and do what we did because of the unprecedented pandemic, what we did was save the economy then, knowing we got some problems that we had now, and now we are recovering quicker and better than any other country on this planet as a result of your policies and the policies of Joe Biden.